나지 저게 당한주 된주기 밀리를 뭐지 톱 아니 지금 상이 땜바단지 인체지 기위 최시행 기위 신이 유디 급del이야 하나 저기 아니식 상이 좀 낸디게 송셰비기 한타바다 탐지 김바 토바지비 람덴지비 송럽리야 한 퇴섬 곰숨 제제네 안디야 아니 전주의 제제 퇴섬 곰숨 냠는 제대 냠는 제고레스 안데네 제바나 하나 저기 된주기 밀리를 뭐 토바디 안 되나 덴바시 차기레스 네 야고레스 근데 직단 아주 퇴섬 곰숨 제네 삼다야데 아주 가나가네 땅고레스네 안 되지 쇼에디 고레야 시사시로.
And good afternoon. So this morning we mentioned how we have all achieved a precious human rebirth, and we came to do so through having accumulated the causes ourselves in previous lifetimes. And now that we have achieved this precious human rebirth, and we have faith in the Buddha, we have also met a teacher, a qualified Mahayana teacher. Then we have all that is required in order to receive the teachings of the Buddha Dharma, the teachings which lay out clearly and in detail the entire path that we need to cultivate within ourselves through the process of receiving teachings and reflecting on those teachings and eventually meditating on those teachings. And this is what we need to engage in. And this morning, in addition to this, it was laid out in quite clearly what are the meditations to engage in so as to live this life in a meaningful way. So that in brief is what we looked at this morning.
And the San Yujim then the Kuron Mata, Shenki Kemba Shim, the Kuron Kensha says on the Gorea Shuashe.
So this now we'll continue in the text, which contains further praise to Buddha Shakyamuni for for him having realized and taught dependence arising.
That's it. Don't be nani, danger dumbata, sherab nani, danger shebani, Jinin Dana, Give Womboshi. The
37th verse. Amongst teachings, the teaching on dependence arising. Amongst wisdoms, the wisdom of dependence arising. These two are like the supreme conqueror of all worlds. You and no others know these perfectly and thoroughly.
개와치마 하다 미 토비기 되나 탑람 안에 되네 탈바 토비기 쳐도 안에 이제 둥아 덴바세야다 덴바시고서야나 안지게 산지요 고방 토야려야 타바침에 남냠는 체야려야 안에 잠니제 자주셈 되지요 셰바나진 되네 파신주기 냠네 되네 최망고 송요레스 인디 나네 다 되네 그 송변나네 안에 덴지기 남자 송화디 덴제 사이디 다 덴제들이야 균지기 덴제다 안에 파 가서래 답이 덴에 답이 덴제 사이자 송고로와 덴이기 덴지기 남샤디 나네가 덴제 사이디 덴에 답이 덴제 안에 송화디 다 상예 좀내네 코니 캠바리 마도 현다기 안에 다디나는 덴바디다 덴지기 남샤 덴바디
The first line, amongst teachings, the teaching on dependence arising. So this is referring to the vast array of teachings that Lord Buddha taught. So he taught the methods that we need to engage in so as to achieve further good rebirths as a human or a god. He also taught the Four Noble Truths. And he taught in the connotation of or the context of the practices unique to a being of great scope, how to cultivate love, compassion, bodhicitta, and the six perfections. But amongst the vast array of Dharma teachings, the one that is being singled out for praise is the teaching on dependence arising. So Buddha taught dependence arising, that all phenomena are all phenomena are dependent arisings. Dependent on causes and conditions, dependent on parts, dependent on imputation. And then amongst these different ways to approach dependency, the presentation on dependent on imputation, in particular, that presentation is being praised here.
Rashi Maduba, Tashin Chibi, Sena, and the Rangun to Basa Junziki Mevares. The Rangun to be Junziki Mevana, and Meva Rebeson, Dia Meva Mares, Chesan Pa Lupa, Dot Lupa, Tabatsam Yobares, Tiny Pa Lu Shabatsam Yores, the Niki Chetamja, Rashi Madubian, Lupa Shabatsam Yoba, Tiny Pa Tabala dinner Yobadi, didn't get Namsha, and did that. Tenju be tomorrow in big and didn't get Namsha Chagore, on the Niki didn't get Namsha Dembadida, Chodo Cuba, San Yu Sumbe, Che Sumbe Nane, Yati Sunedi, that Chodo Cuba, the Resha Sumroda.
When we talk about dependent arising, generally we talk about how phenomena are dependent on causes and conditions. So that when we think of dependent arising, probably that is first what it comes to our mind, that impermanent phenomena are dependent on causes and conditions. Furthermore, when we investigate any phenomenon and how it appears to our mind, we see that it appears as if it is inherently existent. And then if we investigate to see, does it exist in the way that it appears, we come to find that it's empty of existing in that way. It lacks inherent existence. It's empty of inherent existence. But does that mean that the phenomenon doesn't exist at all? Is it therefore non-existent? And there, as we've heard previously, one comes to see that what doesn't exist is inherent existence. The inherently existent phenomenon doesn't exist, but the phenomenon itself, that does so, that exists. How? As a mere imputation by mind, or only as an imputation by mind, or just as an imputation by mind. And this is the case for all phenomena. There is no phenomenon, whether outer or inner, that exists inherently. And not only that, but there is no phenomenon that is not merely imputed by mind. And this dependency, this understanding of dependence on imputation by mind, this is a unique view of the Prasangika, and is a supreme view, and that is what is being praised here in terms of praising the Buddha for having taught dependence arising.
The cho yimba the yaksho yimba the karelamna, that dona diro abenanzo mitaba jamba da nije janshu sem nenganzo jimba churun subi nyamnan gaze chebeneya tonyi de madoba ina ane denzin bantu go mare denzin ma bamba ina ane tarbada temje kimbe ko bantu tugo marwa jesa dine inza ane tarbada temje kimbe ko bantu bala ane denzin bangore denzin bacha da jeba bangore sanyu ko bantu bala de bangbala ane rashingi madruba topegi lodio komne mato ane bangtu merwa jesa rashingi madruba topegi lodio komgo gorwa jesa dine inza che tamje dashin jebe sana rangone madruba sete tongba rangone madruba tongba ni diche 다네 최담제 라신 마주바 인자 네 다 최담제 강라마도 랑원의 마주바레 라요도 안디기 가르송 것은 딱타세요 딱배 타대요 말해서야다 딱타다 안 최담제 라신 마주바 인자 안다 매바레벨라네 매바 말해서 팔리 파샤바 좀 요래세도 아니 되네 집에 타당 잡아 되다 타이단 제위기 최담제 라신 주변 동방이디 또 호래제래 제가 니도네 공부이나 아니 탐지 뉴모바 차상 빵 투고래 제가 타버 산지고 봐 투고여 봐인자 안디 초도 교벌에 샤샤디 다간도 뉴모보기 딘진기 년보 디다 동의도 비셔럽디 인자 안디 또네 공부 인자디 동의 대야디 딘 안데 타이다 저기 동방이 딘지기 남자 덴바디 초도 교벌에 샤샤디 김자로 디에서
we just heard then that this view of dependent arising is being praised as supreme. So if it was just a mere praise, an expression of veneration, that would be very nice, but we should wonder, so what is the reason? Why dependent arising amongst all the teachings? Why is it this teaching that is being singled out for praise as being supreme? Well, there are many minds, as we heard this morning, that need to be cultivated, meditating on emptiness, love, compassion, bodhicitta, ethical conduct, and generosity, etc. But all of these, whilst one needs to meditate these, whilst one needs to cultivate these in order to attain enlightenment, these on their own cannot lead to enlightenment. Without the wisdom realizing emptiness, enlightenment cannot be achieved. And in fact, liberation from cyclic existence, that too cannot be achieved. So therefore, the cultivation of the wisdom realizing emptiness is essential, and that is because this is the only mind that is the actual and direct antidote to the root cause that is keeping us trapped within cyclic existence, the ignorance of self-grasping, or the ignorance of true grasping. So the only way we can attain liberation is to eliminate that root cause. And to eliminate the root cause of all our suffering, this ignorance of self-grasping, we have to develop the contrary mind, the wisdom realizing emptiness. And there are different techniques to meditate on emptiness, to come to understand and to realize emptiness. But amongst the various methods, dependent arising is being praised. So we've heard now one reason why dependent arising is being praised, and that is because it is a technique for realizing emptiness, which is indispensable for attaining liberation and enlightenment. And then the second reason, which is specifically identifies dependent arising amongst the varying methods to meditate on emptiness, is because when one engages in the meditation that has been described before, one first sees how phenomena appear to the mind. We see that they appear inherently, they appear to be inherently existent, which means they appear as if they are independent, meaning they are not influenced by anything at all. And then secondly, they appear to be unchanging. And then we investigate to see if they exist in this way. And we come to see that they don't exist inherently, that no phenomenon has any basis of inherent existence at all, or any trait of existence that is inherent to it. And in this way, we abandon the extreme of existence, the extreme that believes that phenomena exist by the way of their own nature, or their own self-existence. So we abandon the extreme of existence by investigating whether the phenomenon exists in the way that it appears, and we see it doesn't. And thereby abandon the extreme of existence. Then though, through utilizing the subtle presentation on dependent arising, we come to avoid the second extreme, the extreme of nihilism, which is the extreme view that if phenomena don't exist by way of their own self-nature, they cannot exist at all. If there's nothing inherent to a phenomenon that makes it that phenomenon, then it cannot exist at all. This view is then the extreme of nihilism. And how is this avoided? Through meditating on dependent arising. One sees that whilst the phenomenon does not exist by way of its own nature, it is, however, merely imputed by mind. So because the phenomenon is merely imputed by mind, it exists. And therefore one doesn't fall into the extreme of nihilism. But because we've seen that the phenomenon doesn't exist by way of its own self-nature, we haven't fallen into the extreme of existence. So with this particular meditation, this meditation technique of utilizing dependent arising to come to realize emptiness, one avoids falling into either of the extremes, that of existence or that of nihilism. And therefore, it's only through this meditation that one can actually eliminate the ignorance of true grasping. This is the only meditation that leads to the genuine realization of emptiness. And therefore, dependent arising, and particularly the subtle dependent arising, that all phenomena that exist only do so as mere imputations by mind. That is what is being praised here in the first line. Di cheta ki kola de tama yankya songoktan tsirip di tama.
Chö tamje palue shaba zamyo yoba doyodu ane cheta de segri kasore cheta de segri es. 그래서 cheta는 chö tamje zawogini meba들와 cheta와 진짜 chö tamje lue shaba zamyo yoba doyodu me바데 많이 봐 yoba 하고 그러와 진짜 cheta de segri segri es.
Just to repeat some of what has just been said to make sure that it's clear for everyone. So, what is meant by the extreme of existence? It means the view that phenomena are self-existent, or they exist by way of their own self-nature, or their own defining characteristics, or their own inherent nature. So, believing that there is something within the phenomenon that makes it that phenomenon, this is the view that is the extreme of existence. The extreme of nihilism is the view that phenomena don't exist at all. That phenomena don't exist at all is the extreme of nihilism. So when one meditates on whether phenomena exist in the way that they appear, and one comes to see that the way that they appeared, inherently existent, this cannot be found at all, and the phenomenon is empty of inherent existence, one comes to realize emptiness, and thereby abandons or avoids falling into the extreme of existence. Because one has come to see that the phenomena don't exist by way of their own self-nature, they are empty of existing by way of their own self-nature. They don't exist by way of their own inherent nature, they are empty of inherent existence. So through realizing emptiness of inherent existence, one avoids the extreme of existence. And then, through meditating further and seeing that just because a phenomenon doesn't exist inherently doesn't mean it doesn't exist at all. Rather, phenomena are merely imputed by mind. Everything existent exists as a mere imputation by mind. With that realization that phenomena are dependent on mere imputation by mind, one avoids falling into the extreme of nihilism, or falling into the extreme thinking, oh, if phenomena don't exist by way of their own self-nature, they do not exist at all. One avoids falling into that extreme by realizing that phenomena are mere imputations, merely imputed by mind.
And 아두 제지단에 동의게 하고도 제다 답탈에서 아니 바딘에 답에 된적이 또도 아니 델야 아니 제다들 세기레스 다시야디체 난 아델야 제름 지금 믹스기에 가르순 거라스네 Takta cheda.
Tanta kenen takta sungsong, cheta ki kola kari sumpimet? Dantara.
대신에 시계들이 다가선 동의하고 동의 딱다 시계를 안 땡진 대화하고도 안에 체다하고 대지시에 살성하다 지난 지식을 해제 다 믹스기 제일 미치 가르sun 거라서네 땡진 대화 중어기 중어디게 안에 가르sun 거라서네 가르시게서네 딱다 시계를 해제돼 딱다 베타 시계를 그래서 다 동반이 제게도 안에 체다 시계를 해제돼 다지 제일 미치 믹스기 송하지가 다돼 대지가를 생각해서 동반이하고도 딱다시기를 라로와 다 제일 지금 땡진하고도 딱다시기를 라로 안에 대지가 저기 땡중디 하고도 체다시기를 라로와 나들이 제일 지금 미세 송에도 동반이하고도 체다시기를
So what we've been hearing now in these last two segments is the general presentation, the general understanding that through the wisdom realizing emptiness, the extreme of existence is avoided. Through the falling into the extreme of existence is avoided. Through the realization of dependent arising, one avoids falling into the extreme of nihilism. So that's what's been said now a couple of times. Lama Tsongkhapa has a unique presentation. So his presentation in brief, because it will sound very similar, but in brief, is exactly the opposite. So Lama Tsongkhapa says, through the wisdom realizing emptiness, one avoids falling into the extreme of nihilism, and through the realization of dependent arising, one avoids falling into the extreme of existence. So Lama Tsongkhapa's unique view is opposite to what has previously said. So again, his unique view is that through the wisdom realizing emptiness, one avoids falling into the extreme of nihilism, and through the wisdom realizing dependent arising, one avoids falling into the extreme of existence.
지난해 제름 저기 대신에 마셔봐나진 나가랑 순고래 지다 동방에 또도 딱다 세기리 아니 때네 땡중 또도 아니 세다 세기리 순고래 다들 믹스기 땡지 땡데도 디급소 순베게 땡지기 셰베게 아니 딱다 세기리 아니 동방이 하고도 세다 세기리 세디 송도 제름 치기 믹스기 땡데다 동방에 삼는 땅탕에 토네 아니 키슈 개발도 봐봐 키슈 믹스 지어봐지 된 거래 대신에 송교된 다들 송이다 가화가 차고 말해.
So here, before we progress with the explanation on this, what needs to be said is that Geshe has this unique presentation, but he is not saying that the general presentation is necessarily mistaken. He's not saying that the general presentation is mistaken and his unique presentation is the only correct one. He's not saying there's a contradiction between the two. In fact, he's saying there is no contradiction between the general explanation and his unique explanation. And just to repeat his unique explanation, through the wisdom realizing emptiness, one avoids the falling into the extreme of nihilism, and through the wisdom realizing dependent arising, one avoids falling into the extreme of existence. But he presents this unique view, which is in accordance or in harmony with the general view, for a specific reason, to bring out a particular aspect of understanding. And that's what we'll come to now.
디긴게 람사 한 최dem지 라시 마루바 이나야 뢰파다 바자 요래서디 샤야를 떼스 갈레라 용무서라 다 최담지 땡진 저와 중어레서 하고 바 이나야 다 최담지 랑기원이 주바도 요 말에서 셰 하고 해디 롤 차야 돼 떼스 바라들 떼스 갈레로 주어 와다 떼스 로고라 다다 제름지 소야디 다 땡진 저와 중도 장한테 땡진 저와 제바제 땡진 저와 중 제바제네 아니 장바로 휴 태야도 한 장바 휴 태야도 갑라 안에 땡진 저와 좀 삼당의 람사 동반이 최간데 신의 땡진 저와죠 삼다 어최 디차상 랑원의 주보에 자오는 요 말에 선배기 람사로리아 샤투레지레 데네 인자 땡진 저와죠 삼다에도 람사 최담제 라시 마주버레 삼다토디 최담제 라신이 주비 뭐이 주바디 요 말에 섬데 샤투고로 와면 디가투고로 진짜 다다세기레서 땡진 저와죠 삼다에도 다다 사탄데 간데 세기레랍나 땡진 저와죠도 삼다에도 땡진 저와 삼다에도 최대니 지금 미제 디 땡진 저와죠레 삼다에도 남사 다디 랑원의 주바 자오이 요 말에 선비기 동자디 남사로를 샤투고레 차야도 제자 랑원의 주바디 바가고레 제자 땡진 저와죠 삼다비 다다세기레서 디레 다야 직 최직 라신이 마주바 삼다데 최 지금 미제 디 라신이 마주바레서 제바지 디 삼다디 라신이 자오이네 마야레야 선비기 라신이 마주바 삼다에도 다 라신이 마주바레 라신이 마주바레 삼명도 남사 디기 니베 더블레네 오다 팔루이 파샤바 좀 요레 선비기 젠투레스 니 대야도다 자오이네 메바 마레서 디 가고로 메바디 가고로 제가 다 체타세기레서 디세 제가 제름 치기 미시기 땡지게 다다 세기리에 세데 땡지게 남자 삼당어도 디기로 남사 최듬제 라신 마주바 텐도 그래 마주바레 삼벌로를 샤투 그래 제가
거는 디스트리뷰티 타마양카
최담제 땡진 저와 삼당어도 최담제 땡진 저와 중어레 선배 삼당어도 남사 최담제 랑공원의 주바 자오이는 요 말에 선배 동반이디 젠투 그래 디 젠투도 라신 주바디 파가 다 최담제 최대니 지금 이제 지 라시 마주바레서 동반이 삼당에도 남사 저 라시 마주바레 삼당 남사 오다 발로 샤바 좀 요레서 젠투고레 땡지게 남자 젠투고레스 디네자 아니 려 샤바 좀 요레서 젠도 땡네 메바디 마레서 하고도 그래서 동반이 삼당 동반이 땡지 저와죠 삼당에도 아니 다다가 아니 동이 삼당에도 체다가 세디 어디 디네레다디 제름주 송다디.
So I'll explain this a couple of times so that it hopefully becomes clear, because it's not that it's necessarily difficult to understand. The words are just kind of similar because they're just being swapped around. So first of all, what Jai Rinpoche is saying now, so this is to explain the unique view of Lama Tsongkhapa, that when one cultivates the wisdom realizing emptiness, realizing that no phenomenon exists in the way that it appears, no phenomenon is inherently existent, then immediately one doesn't realize dependent arising. One doesn't immediately realize that phenomena are merely imputed by mind. So these two realizations, they don't come together, they come sequentially. And but through training repeatedly over over a sustained period, then whenever one thinks of dependent arising, when one thinks that all phenomena are merely imputed by mind, immediately the understanding will follow that if phenomena are merely imputed by mind, they lack inherent existence. They cannot be inherently existent because they're merely imputed by mind. So this is in brief, the unique view of Lama Tsongkhapa. So to say it again, he presents that when one meditates on dependent arising, one comes to see that phenomena are merely imputed by mind. And then that leads one to think, phenomena are merely imputed by mind, therefore they are empty of inherent existence. And in this way, one avoids the extreme of existence. So the sequence is, when first meditating on dependent arising and realizing subtle dependent arising, that all phenomena are merely imputed by mind, immediately the yogi realizes that therefore they are also empty of inherent existence. And realizing now that they're empty of inherent existence, of self-existence, they avoid falling into the extreme of existence. Or they avoid falling into this extreme thinking phenomena exist by way of their own self-nature. So that's the first part of the meditation. No, the first line, the first way of reasoning, the line of reasoning, the sequence of reasoning. When you change the sequence of reasoning, where one meditates first on emptiness, looking to see phenomena exist inherently or not, coming to realize that phenomena are empty of inherent existence, then immediately, due to the habituation of having trained for a long time, one realizes that phenomena are empty of inherent existence, they are merely imputed by mind. So these two realizations follow one after the other. And thereby, one avoids falling into the extreme of nihilism, the extreme thinking they don't exist at all. So I'll say both again, and then hopefully it will be clear. So all phenomena, so when meditating, there are two sequences. Either you start with dependent arising, or you start with emptiness of inherent existence. So starting with meditating on dependent arising, one comes to realize that phenomena only exist as mere imputations, and then immediately one realizes that phenomena therefore are empty of inherent existence, and then immediately and thereby one avoids falling into the extreme of existence, because one has just realized that phenomena are empty of inherent existence, and one realized that in dependence on realizing that all phenomena are mere imputations by mind. When one then meditates in the opposite sequence, because this sequence we start with dependent arising and then emptiness. So if we swap those two around, and we first meditate on that how phenomena appear as inherently existent. Do they exist in this way? No, they're empty of inherent existence. Realize emptiness. Then immediately, one realizes that phenomena, whilst empty of inherent existence, they are merely imputed by mind. They are dependent on imputation by mind. And this then prevents one from falling into the extreme of nihilism, the extreme that thinks because phenomena don't exist by way of their own nature, they don't exist at all. And one is prevented from falling into that extreme because one just realized they are mere imputations by mind. Hopefully then that unique view of Lama Tsongkhapa is a little clear.
Tenjin Jawa Chunga some do some time to them check condition daily some di Tenjin Jawa Chungori some time to Tenjin Jawa Chunga in by the some time or the Ranshi Matuba Re some Matuba Tam Matubada. Then they are Chike Chedi Ranshi Rangung when you to be Tongpare, said Tony sometime to dead Tony Dille some time to be near or that. Gangla Matoba, Palu Shapa, you're a tiny to Yabare, some the town to Mebaina, Lamsan Lolia, Lit to Mebaina, the no, and the Chiki to Basan, Jumnedi, Sun Shebegi, and the Tenjun Dombanida, Tenjun Namshati, Pajangdor Yapute Mares or that Jangdor Yapucha, Chayo Mares.
The Nichela the suggestion for donut, So here, as then furthermore, a sign of whether one's training training in this meditation is successful or not is the following. If one meditates first on, say, dependent arising, and comes to realize that all phenomena are all phenomena are dependently arisen. In particular, they are dependent on imputation by mind. If one then doesn't immediately think, therefore, for this reason, therefore, they are empty of inherent existence, then one's training is not complete. Likewise, when one does the meditation in the opposite sequence, first meditating on the emptiness of inherent existence, and one comes to realize emptiness, if then immediately to one's mind that all phenomena, because this phenomenon is empty of inherent existence, it is merely imputed by mind. Again, if that doesn't spontaneously and immediately arise in one's mind, then this is a sign that one's training is not complete.
다디 인자 다 상유 점된디기 최망고 송배 나네 아니 데니기 최탐제 라신이 마줍자 발뢰 샤바 잠기 또베 파 따바 잠기 tanyido yoba sayadi tendige namsha sonayadi ane yakshore sha sayche. Da nipa dila sherab nani tende sheba nyi sido da dene da yu tobyo le midaba tobyo lo sayada ane jige bine denpa shi tobyo lo sayada denige lo sherab mangu yorwa da yu na di nani jang ane dadi di che tamje rangshin majuba 라시 마주바다 라시 매나야 마주바 이나야 팔뢰파 샤바즈 여바스 또야디 안에 또베 셰럽디 셰럽나네 초도 교바데레스
셰럽 약속 양켜서라
셰럽 나로야다 미다바도 별로세다 제 동아 덴바도 별로세다 군주 덴바도 별로세다 데 셰럽 망보여와 디 나네야다 동반이 또 별로 최탐제 라시 마주바도 별로디 다 약쇼레 샤스고.
That's so. Yeah, in the first line we've been looking at there's the reasoning that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, but are mere imputations by mind. And we've spoken then about the meditation on this, and that dependent arising, the meditation on dependent arising, is the very best method to realize that all phenomena are both empty of inherent existence, but merely imputed by mind. So now the second line, amongst wisdoms, the wisdom of dependent arising. Amongst wisdoms, then this indicates that, just like in the line before, amongst teachings, it indicates that there are many different wisdoms, such as the wisdom understanding impermanence, the wisdom understanding the truth of suffering, the wisdom understanding truth of origin, etc. But amongst all of them, the wisdom realizing emptiness is supreme.
Dene jidin dana ye ombo shin sayadi da zambuli di nala ya ane keba temba jike mangbu yores and di nare ja di nane da so di yaksho di da yebo na shin di ane sanyu jumne kyoran re sha su ro jidin dana ye ombo shin sidu zamli di nala kebe ombo ane jige chulu sosarana midewi temba ane ji keba mangbu yores di nane da karsene sanyu jumne kyoran da yebo di re so di re sha su.
Then the third line, these two are like the supreme conqueror of the worlds. So we can maybe understand it a little differently from how it's translated here. That in all the worlds there are many great beings who are very knowledgeable and skilled and experienced in various fields. But none of them can compare to the Buddha. In fact, the Buddha can be said to be like the conqueror or a king within the world, in that he is uniquely supreme.
나 불중 려버려 아니 개chen 생기 매세도 다 지나다 덤바 차상기 미 직직된랴 직 철로 소소라 덤바디기 아니 차상 디기 주비야 돈달랴 지기 디기 주비야다 동어세야랴 안체 아니 소소라랑기 체 등겨와 얘네 디템바 나 등거를 이내야다 상계 점된데 결혼 템바 디나데 케베 온보 템바 망보야는 개보 인바 나신기 결혼기다 탈바다 탐지 캠비기 코위기 코월을 죄제 코위기 계규 탐제를 죄제 상계 고방 토야기 토베기 탑이 람 땡겐디 나 데니기 킹겐데 상계 점데 결혼 직부래 샤서다 상이 좀 결혼 지불해샤 상이 결혼 권에 캠바레마도 잔다기 캠이 누우서 그러다 부준 레버 쾌킨 생기 민세도 탈바 야 동아 탐질을 줘야지 땡기 대화 상기 고파 토백이 안 탈백이 토백이 람 냠린 제디 다 냠린 제다 풀루주와 약쇼들 와다 데니게 약쇼 캠바디 다 상이 좀 결혼 권에 캠바레마도 잔다기 캠이 누우서.
And then the fourth line, you and no others know these perfectly and thoroughly. So this then refers to that the Buddha is unique in the world. He's singular in the world in knowing all the causes that keep us bound within cyclic existence, as well as the methods for eliminating these. He is alone in the world in having come to realize within himself the path to liberation and enlightenment. And moreover, he's alone in the world in being able to share this with others in a unique and in an unmistaken and complete manner.
디고 냠는 제데 상예 줌내네 결혼을 캔샤스 거다. 제가 동반이 최탐제 라신이 마주바디 상예 줌내 결혼 지구이 캔샤마도 현대 캠민도. 제가다 거기 자와 녀모바 덴지 마릭바디 빠야래 녀보디 아니 동반이 때에 로티 캠바디 동이도 배 샤랍 초도 유바디 디 녀보 임바디 디 곰네 아니 대전 방고바디 상여 좀 되는 결혼 직부 현샤스 마도 현대 캠민도 세워 제가 디니기 인자 니 세드 니디니 보디 람기 냠는 제약이 디니 보디다 상여 좀 되는 결혼 코니 캠바레지 마도 현기 캠민도 세워라다.
So what we see then at the beginning of our third line, these two. So again, Genla's explaining this in a different way from how the verse has been translated. So these two refers to what we heard previously about dependence arising and emptiness. So these two refers to that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, that's the first, and the second, but are dependent on imputation by mind. So these two refers to these two understandings, and the Buddha is being praised here as the supreme conqueror of all worlds in that it is only the Buddha who has perfected the training in these two realizations and who knows these faultlessly. So it's only the Buddha who understands that the antidote to the ignorance of self-grasping is the wisdom realizing emptiness, and knows the supreme method for realizing this antidote and eliminating the ignorance of self-grasping. The method of these two being realizing that all phenomena without exception lack even the slightest trace of inherent existence, yet are dependent on imputation by mind.
타마딜레 풀중 랴버 켜킨 생기 면세 풀중 세야디 제사 타바다 탐제 캠비 토야게 람냠는 제기 조검제 아니 녀모 빠야게 람여 조 약쇼디 대동유도 베셔라디 제사 풀중와디 약쇼디리스 디 결혼의 캔샤스 디 현다기 다 캠비도 가선 현다 덴바 차상게 아니 라신 주바레 순고르마도 라신 마주바레 순고 말와 제사 라신 마주바도 마켄바자 라신 마주바 또베로디 녀모비기 녀보인바디 마켄바디 제사디 상여 결혼 코네 켄지 송샤스.
Then looking again at the fourth line, you and no others know these perfectly and thoroughly. So the Buddha is alone in knowing the path that needs to be cultivated within oneself in order to be able to attain liberation from suffering. The Buddha is alone in having correctly identified the ignorance of self-grasping as the root cause of all suffering, and that the wisdom realizing emptiness is the actual and direct antidote to the elimination of the root cause of our suffering. So therefore, when compared to all other great beings, all other learned and knowledgeable and experienced and wise beings, the Buddha stands out as a supreme conqueror, or as a great king when compared to them, because it's only through the teachings of the Buddha that he himself has realized that one can attain liberation from suffering.
labja karanan gore labna, chisada sangyo chumnen digi 지금 탈바다 탐지 캠비 고방 토야게 녀모바자 네 방야게 탑람디 산지 코니 켄셰 아는 안솔레 제유 원게 안솔레 송요레스 마 송샤요레스 제단 데니게 송샤바 델야 가르 송와레람나 돈유도 별로 검제 아는 안주 검바이나 녀모바 네 덴지 빵도 그레스 덴지 빵바이나 데네 산지 고방 토 그레스 제단 데니자 덴지 빵 된 동반이 또 봐라 데니 덴진 저와 중화 삼당 또 호레스 지금 좀 말랍제 마나샤요레스 제단 나와 델야 안주기 아니 상여 주민들이 송샤바 델야 아는 안주기 직 냠len 퇴바제 아니 삼바제 꼼제 냠len 마 제후그레스 마제바 이나 아니 상여고바 토투 마레스 지제 가르상 안주이네 상여고바 토발라 아니 녀모 빵고레 진진 빵고레 디빵발라 동유도 비셔라 공부 지자 상여 주민들이 송샤바데 덴디기 남샤 델야 안주 퇴바제 삼바제 된다 야네야도 삼 데네 냠len 제조 빵고레스 된다 데네기 콤바이나 데네 라니네야 셈제 산주고방 톱투그레 셴 셈젠 탐지기 셴륜 주발라야 아니 소소라랑 아니 지게 돈이 남샤디 도제 소소라 녀모 마방바 있나 셴데 개침을 지투 말에 제자 진짜 셴기 된 개침을 제발라야 아니 산주고방 톱고고래 제자 되는 인자 대산주고방 토발라 돈유도 별로디 마공발라 토야 메레 제사 상유 좀네 송샤바 델 양한 저기 아니 동유도에게 탑람이야 아니 베즈 첨보지네 아니 태섬 공솜제네 아니 제고래 송고르다.
The advice from Geshe Thubten that's contained in this verse to us is that the Buddha knows directly through his own experience that in order to bring about a complete cessation of suffering and thereby attain liberation from suffering, the afflicted minds have to be eradicated at their very root. Not only does the Buddha know this through his own experience, but it was not just a mere theory he had come to understand, but through completely realizing or having a perfect realization of the path, he then taught it in a complete and unmistaken manner. And then in brief, what did he teach? He taught that it's imperative to meditate on the wisdom realizing emptiness, or to cultivate the wisdom that realizes emptiness, because this is the direct antidote to the ignorance of self-grasping that keeps us bound in cyclic existence. And it's only through doing this that enlightenment can be attained. And the most skillful of methods to come to realize emptiness is through meditating on dependent arising, in particular on subtle dependent arising, that phenomena only exist as mere imputations by mind. And to understand these, to be able to meditate successfully on these topics, it's imperative that one receives many teachings and understands what one has been taught well, and one does this through receiving further teachings and reflecting repeatedly over a sustained period on those teachings, to the point where one is then able to actually meditate on these teachings. This is the only way to attain liberation and enlightenment. Without going through this process of hearing teachings, reflecting and meditating on them repeatedly over a sustained period, it's not possible to attain realizations. But should one choose to do so, then there's tremendous benefit for oneself and for others. For oneself, it's clear one attains liberation from suffering. Moreover, through this vast store of merit, as well as this unmistaken experience, one is able to skillfully guide others. Because one's own knowledge and experience has been developed and perfected, and thereby one can skillfully guide others in accordance with their own individual personalities, based not just on a mere theory that has been learned, but on the application and cultivation, development of that within oneself. And then, based on this knowledge and experience, one can skillfully guide others.
아니네 직제사바 계기 진예 가자바 덴제 닐레 잠대주 대안양한 다실때 인식을 민제 켈라메스.
Now we come to a new verse, verse 38. all that you have taught starts and proceeds from dependence arising itself. Its purpose is the transcendence of suffering. Therefore, nothing you can do is not for peace. Therefore, nothing you do is not for peace.
다상이 좀내 되게 최 빠도 매바 송요래서 기기 진예 가자 봐서 직당보 되게 상예 좀내 되게 최 안에 감나 두지에 감나 매발에 대신 템비게 돈에 안에 최 빠도 매바 송요래서 배 망보 송요래서 최까지 송바 차상 안에 간에신 조랴 안에 가시네 안에 돈다 덴지게 덴진 저와 중화 최 탐제 라신 마주장 안에 발로 샤바 당이 따바서 예바디 도에게 돈달라 송바레스 월다 최진예 송바 탐제 아니 딘진이라 점대 주세요 가신 딘진이 딘진 응어소 최 탐제 하시면 딘진 저와 주 응어소 송바 가시 응어소 마소는 유네 아니 송바 제상 딘진자 최 탐제 최 송바 강데 송바의 차상 아니 딘진 저와 중와 최 탐제 라신 마주장 르파 따바서 예바디 데니게 또바게 탑랍나 점대 송바레스.
So look in the first two lines, all that you have taught starts and proceeds from dependence arising itself. So this is now making a reference to the vast array of teachings and a multitude of topics that the Buddha gave. And he taught in accordance with the individual dispositions and inclinations of his audience. So depending on these differing dispositions and inclinations, he either explicitly or directly taught that phenomena empty of inherent existence, but exist as mere imputations by mind, or in dependence on the personalities of his audience. This was not explicitly taught, but implicitly taught, indirectly taught, where he would indirectly teach that no phenomenon exists by way of its own nature, but is merely imputed by mind.
가르름나 다디베네 텐제세 텐제니라 점데 주세 텐제 티양 당 균지게 텐제다 안에 지게 텐제 답이 텐제세하다 안 텐제를 차라 망보여와 니나네다 조데 가르송 거라서네 아니 최 탐제 라신이 마주 랑근외네 마주바 있나야 팔뢰파 시 탱이파 따바쯤 요래 세디 최담제 라신이 마주장 안에 로에 샤바쯤 로래 때네 요바래 세지 디 조르 송거와.
All phenomena that exist, they exist as dependent arisings, and dependent arising can be approached through different techniques, or dependent arising can be understood in different ways. There's dependence on causes and conditions, there's dependence on parts, dependence on imputation by mind. And within these different types or different divisions perhaps of dependency, there are many layers of subtlety, coarser understandings leading to subtler understandings. And what it comes down to, though, is that no phenomenon that exists by way of its own nature. Everything is empty, completely lacks inherent existence, but it's merely imputed by mind.
송바 나신 셰바 나신 변행한서 하다 미고 토야티 아니 규치를 떼내 토고래 세지 제산 규가를 사왔으네 네 추림 송하다 진바다 아니 쇠바 준주의 냠는 대솔을 떼시나네 디냠는 제바는 델을 떼내 겨와치마 하다 미고 토투고래 세지 셰로하다 니기 디네시드 갑라 아니 디 하다 미고 파디 아니 라신 주에 동바래 세도 모습도 숨고 말데 이나야 돈달라 가르숨 거라세네 제가 하다 미우고 방 토세디 하다 미고와디 강라에 마되바 중고마 유단见了对的용고래 세숑 송요도 유단 见了 마되바도 영아가 말해 숨고라 제가 디기도 진 송요도 아니 모습도 고 라신 주에 동바래 숨고 말데 이나 된기 파 슈려야 아니 그래서네 하다 미우고 방디 유다 귤 뛰그리 견을 뛰그리 유단 견을 뛰는 용그리에서 윤지게 남 땡제 송요도 지난 유단 견 마되바 호롱원의 두바도 용 말했은 거로 와다 슈라 로와.
Talking about here, it's been mentioned that the Buddha, in all his teachings, he either explicitly or implicitly taught about emptiness and dependent arising. So let's give an illustration of how this is taught indirectly or implicitly. So we think of some of the meditations that were presented this morning. We spoke about this rebirth that we have attained in this life and the need to have similar rebirths in our future lives so that we can attain enlightenment. So we spoke then about in order to achieve a good rebirth in our future lives, such as a human or as a god, one needs to engage in the cultivation of the minds, of ethical conduct, of generosity, of patience and dependent arising, and make stainless prayers. So that is what was explicitly taught this morning, the need to have further good rebirths, and then what we need to do in this life to ensure that we do. So that was the explicit teaching. The implicit teaching is that in order to achieve a result of a good rebirth, that result does not come about causelessly, but through the accumulation of the appropriate causes. Therefore, the result of a particular rebirth is a dependent arising. It's dependent on causes such as the mind of ethics, the mind of generosity, the mind of patience, the mind of joyous perseverance, and prayers. And because that rebirth is a dependency, it cannot exist independently, which means it is not inherently existent, but empty of inherent existence. So this teaching, or that teaching this morning, in that teaching, nothing was said about dependent arising or emptiness, but implicitly this was implied.
나와 나신지 랑고니 주바 자와기디 민도세야지 데네 마송야디 손디갑라 제가 달 라시 마주바 땡진 저 주위톤에 라시 마주바도 못 송으로 와 제가 데네기 제바 제나 다신 제베스나 자와드니 떠기니 요마레스 다네 다신 제베스나 예 메네 메바이나 데나네 사다 미고 방세데 요마레베스니 디 요레 파 다바점이 뢰바 샤바점 요레세 직현실을 뛰는 뛰바점이 주그레세 세예도 제가 디 무소 안 사다 미고 방고 라시 땡지 남샤톤에 라시 마주바도 못 송으로 와.
And what has just been mentioned then is in reference to one of the teachings this morning, how dependent arising and emptiness were implicitly indicated in that teaching, or implicitly taught in that teaching. If in that teaching, emptiness and dependent arising had been directly taught, then it would have been taught in the following way, for example. One would take a form of a human or a god and see how that appears to one's mind. So if one thinks of a form of, or probably a human, how does that appear to one's mind? Then we see that like all phenomena, it appears to be inherently existent, existing by way of its own self-nature. Then we investigate to see whether it exists in this way, and we come to see it does not exist in the way that it appears. It's empty of existing in the way that it appears. It's empty of existing inherently. But it doesn't mean that that human or God form does not exist. Rather, it exists as a mere imputation by mind. In other words, it's a dependent arising, dependent on imputation by mind. So that then would have been an explicit or direct teaching on emptiness and dependent arising in relation to a rebirth in a higher realm.
dandala de jigni de kyegi jinye gaza ba denjin zhe ne denjin ni la zamde shu juk se de sangye jumnen de ge chue ga ji songba chasang ane gane songba ine chue chasang ane semjen namge ane tenjin trewa chungwa chue tamje shenle tuyne drupa mada kangla tuyba rangwene drupa zawine mebas yomares rangwene drupa tongba da rangwene drupa tongba yinayang pa lue pa shaba zamgi yore sedi ndi hagoyegi dondala sungwa resi urda
Di hagoye sungwa.
하고야게 된다라 산지 최송에 차상 니 하고야게 된다라 송고레스 디 신기하게 된다라
Shinga, den die Nien kennen, die Dulta, die Shinga
Lobsang Dorje 다 샘장 차상에 좋아다 간 수인에 다당한 저기 라신이 말도 최 탐제 라신 주변 동바이나야 안 발루에 샤바쯤 열에 탕이도 열에 세디 먼저 하고고 말와 지상 상기기 마 최송야 차상하디 니 하고야게 된다라 최송고레 송바 차상디 뭐야 야는 유 디비 토네 니 신야게 된다라 네 송고레 제래
Again, at their first two lines, all that you have taught starts and proceeds from dependence arising itself. So the meaning, in brief, of these two lines is that whatever topic the Buddha taught, he taught this so with the motivation that his students could come to realize that all phenomena, without exception, do not exist by way of their own nature, but are rather dependent on imputation by mind. Whatever topic is taught, this was either the explicit teaching or was implicitly implied within the teaching. So whatever the topic is, that phenomenon does not exist by way of its own nature. Rather, it's dependent on imputation by mind.
And 상유점된 최송의 차상 안디 지게 최담제 라신 주비 동바다 아니 라신 주비 동바 있나야 아니 발로에 샤바 좀 여바 탱이도 여바세 니하고야 된다 숨고야 돼 가르치레스 바 삼로로 죽때 디워를 때바 이나 안 디지오래 오들라 대양양은 다실대에서다 그래서 디 숨고바데 가르스네 샘장 담조 코르 동할래 탈을 타고 거래스 코 콜비 동안 딜파 대제 안 탈바 탐지키면 고방 토고 거래 니체도 숨어 말해서 그래서네 탈바다 탐지키면 고방 토발라 디진이를 셰바나 딘진 마리빠데 마방바 있나 탈바 탐지키면 고방 토투고 녀모 빵 마방바 있나 탈바 탐지키면 고방 토투고 말해서 제가 디빵고 거래 디빵발라 동방이 또베기 또벨로디 마제바 있나 딘 빵토고 말와 제가 심전 탐지 코르 동안 le targu gore di tarayala nyommo banggu gore nyommo bangbala ane tongyu to be sherapti gom gore di magomna bangtu mare jesa 대상 냥할레 대비 tarba 토비 치도 ane tongyu to be sherap gom di to야게 된다라 송아레스 그래.
The doubt may well come that all teachings, no matter what, from Buddha, were given so as to aid the realization of the emptiness of that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, yet exist as mere imputations by mind. And one may think that seems a little strange, but the third line shows why this is the case. Its purpose is the transcendence of suffering. So the reason that Buddha gave every teaching that he did was so as to lead his students, to lead all beings to a state liberated, a state freed from suffering. The only way to attain liberation is to abandon the cause for our suffering. So the only way to be liberated from suffering is to eliminate the cause of suffering, the ignorance of self-grasping. And the only way to eliminate the ignorance of self-grasping is through cultivating the wisdom realizing emptiness. Without eliminating the ignorance of self-grasping, one remains trapped in the suffering state of samsara. Without realizing the emptiness of inherent existence, one cannot eliminate the ignorance of self-grasping and attain liberation. So with this as a motivation, he taught each topic that he did.
대양양은 다시 대해서 되는 땡진 대화 중화를 되 송바 대양 안심전의 양을 되네 양을 코르 동안에 탈비치 송화레스 제자디 타발라 동요 되비셔라 먹음다네 안데 타요 말에서 시송과 냥한 다시 돼서 다 시바딜라 시유르 민제 켜라메스 제사 상여 점는 디기 최 제바간에 제바 이나야 조was음전 탐지기 둥하냐와 시위 실도 송와레 마도 상여 점는 디기 둥하기 저위기 둥하세에 들 송바마도 데네기 메디 멤버 얀다 지요 말에스 제사 상여 점는 디기 제바 최 송바이나다 지게 고수게 넘주로 된바이나다 간에 이메네 차상 상이기 제바 차상 아니 간에 이메네 샘전 둥하냐와 시위기 실도 안에 송와냐야레스.
Therefore, in order to attain nirvana, the state where one has transcended suffering, then one has to realize emptiness. There is no other technique than this. And then this point is further expanded on in the last line. Therefore, nothing you do is not for peace. So this again emphasizes that everything that the Buddha taught, particularly all the teachings that he gave, the sole motivation was so that beings can attain a state of lasting peace, a peace that is not interrupted by a moment of suffering, a peace of lasting happiness.
제가 상계 세디 균 차상 방차지 연된 차상 톱차완자 균 군시 연된 군대여도와 제가 랑이기 된다라 안에 지게 시어고스 가요 말바다 제가 제바로 간이 됴베이네 현sem진 동안에 저야다 아니 데비치 송바레 마도 소소랑랑게 된다라 송바 제바자지요 말해서 그러다 제가 알아서로 보시나 아직에 가브리엘 소소랑랑게 된다라 직시야 연구로 와도 베네다 상계 많이 바이나 소소디기 요하다 소소야 땀냐다 요하다 아주 소수기 제 자월람로 야 요하게 된다라 아직 마 주시바라디 용시로와 제가 상계라 되네게 자기네요 말해서 가서 랑된 탈신 말해서 제가 랑기 꾼 차사 빠차 연된 차사 톱차 말해 제가 디네레 디네인자 다 상계기 마 제바 최대야당 되네게 류기 넘겨다 간에 제바 간에 심베이네 안에 구송 투숨이 제바 간에 심베네 샘진 코월에 대야 샘절에 내가 대화 좀 많이 봐 타도 안에 상계 고방 토비 치도 짱짱해서 그래.
A Buddha is a being that has completely eliminated all trace of faults and has thoroughly perfected all qualities. So a Buddha is a being that is perfect. So therefore, it would be very strange for a being that is perfect to do anything for their own sake, because there's nothing further for them to attain or to eliminate. Faults are completely eliminated. All good qualities are perfected. So therefore, a Buddha solely works for the welfare of others. And this is because this self-cherishing mind has been completely eradicated. So this is something that we have never experienced, because whatever we do, even when it is a kind deeds to others, there is still the self-cherishing motivation behind this. We're always hoping for our own happiness. And therefore we're used to people that we know having a similar motivation. But a Buddha is not like this at all. A Buddha has no trace left of the self-cherishing mind. And therefore, the Buddha's body, speech and mind, every activity is motivated to lead beings to the state of peace, the state of liberation.
치티게 된다 조로 가르순고를 람나 다 상이 젬는 데기 아니 최 탐지원선의 시제 탈바다 탐지 캠비 람 냠는 재단 간에 제고래 고명에 조 가르 공국에서 차상 상이 젬는 그런 게 시제 시바나신제 안아들야 제위 왕기 다 안아들야 아니 지 도스치네 아니 저 심전 탐지 둥아들 대제 상이 고방 토비 치도 송바 짱짱레스 송거다.
The meaning then of this verse in brief is that Buddha Shakyamuni is a Buddha is a being who has realized all phenomena completely. And he has eliminated each and every fault completely, so there's not even the slightest of traces. And all good qualities that can be developed have been developed to a state of perfection. And moreover, motivated by his love and care, he taught this, the method that he himself employed. He taught this to us in a way that's complete and unmistaken. So therefore, we need to train in exactly the same way as the Buddha himself trained, because we have been given the faultless method by which to cultivate the minds of the Buddha Dharma within us and achieve the self-same state of peace as the Buddha himself has attained.
An simjan tam je dunga de jaya da kowe dunga le jeje sangye gopang sangye jumen de corona shin chaye ge sangye gopang tobe ge danda la ya tablam be masi mongo sung yores dina sung ba na ni ja an nga ju ge nyomo ba pa ge zo de tongyu to be sherap gong gu re se tongyu to be sherap da ni tongyu to ye to na tenju ge namra shi je sangye jumen de gi ma so le sung sha yores de sung ba de da nga ju ge 델리아 최섬제 냠내야고 지하고 그래서 나대가 주기 고갑 여비기 여바 델리아 냠내 맞제바 있나 되는 거 줄이야 지게 경청물하고 그래서 제상 상여 주면데 배 제우방기 아 줄이야 안지 거기 코아딜을 줘야게 된다래 가서 송샤바디 나서 냠내 맞제바 있나 나서 경우를 해서 제가 경청무시고라고 디 냠내 제가를 빼마서 계침물을 해서 거라네 별마서나 지미지기 당한서 나도 저거시우 또 되어이나 미지기다 오늘 다 저거도 인제 삼제 안지 칼라시 뭐시우 지 최버로 쇠시 한줄 든데 깨샤와이나 당한지디 지게 니네 될 미크로마다지 사야도 파수지 미크로마다지 되어이나 딘소스 경험을 와서 그래 제가 미제 샤바디 시무스 제바디 사바나 저도 해야지 세투로 와서 디나신다 소소기 미크로마통하지 마다 되어이나 소소 경험을 그래 디나신다 상예 좀난디게 제 왕게 가서 냠는지도 수치고 차상 순샤바디 가서 마제바이나 가서 너를 침부래샤 디 냠는 네 준주기에제 아니 냠는지 우도 송거와.
The advice contained in this verse from Je Rinpoche to us is that Buddha Shakyamuni taught through his great compassion, he taught the complete and unmistaken path, the complete and unmistaken method to cultivate the minds of the Buddha Dharma within us so that we too can arise as Buddhas. And he gave a vast array of teachings. All of them are motivated so that beings can come to understand and come to realize that all phenomena lack inherent existence, yet exist as mere imputation by mind. So we now have attained this incredible opportunity where we can receive the teachings of the Buddha Dharma and repeatedly, over a sustained period, through training our mind, we can develop spiritually, develop these minds of the Buddha Dharma within us. And if we don't take this opportunity, it would be an incomparable loss. For example, if we were to meet someone outside who is famished, and we were to offer them nutritious food, and we were to give this food to them, but they don't take the food and lift it to their mouth and sustain themselves through this, the loss is just theirs. We've done what we could to help them, but if they don't take the step from their side, they're the ones who experience the loss. Now that then is similar to the position we find ourselves in. Buddha Shakyamuni, through such great love, he taught us the entire method to attain a state of lasting peace, liberation from suffering, full and complete enlightenment. And the loss will only be ours if we don't take this incomparable opportunity that we have achieved in this life.
dandala kasada dirin shubedi 지금 랍제로 지 갈링고선 제름지게 나오들이야 뭐 송안도 라바이 랍제 겨송 삼제 다 제름지게 랍제 겨와 나신 중에 없는 지긴 선비게 삼로식 저기도 삼다제 안데지 슈베셰바나제레 당어저 야자시 모아제 자위기 당어저야 안지 탈바도 이게 삼바다 심제다 지기도 산조고바 토바 지긴 선비게다 군노 자주 심기 군내랑 데이터를 하는 저기다 지 동반이 benn passion to nyamlen jimba the chu nyamlen jigin sembige nyamlen jea da an delia jinga zuge dongni doye don da la dianjin zhewa junyi samda di dianjun da jigi dangbo nga zu yunji ge dianze gyu de la den zhebu den xiong go le sa de nga zu yunji ge dianze samda nga zu ge samlo sangbo ji dang ba ne dela den nga zu gyu jimbi nyamlen jeba ne zhebu 제 소설 호조야다 소수기 교 추름소 안에 디제고 마음바나네 라다미 고바 토야다 누 섬다지 되네 된지게 남자 섬다 안 대양 안 되니게 대양 나서 나와 나신지 누구의 민도 가는 신당구도 나야 돼 가는 신당구도 제 섬다 진나와 나신지다 나서 나세디 나서 나를 잡아이네 소소라 잡는 나세디 나서 로를 가는 신당구도 바 나야 돼 당보 섬다 Now on Ashinji, that can do Jeva Chedu, Tanga Zuki, Luda, Sem Nang Gando Yume, Jeva Chen, Das Chedu, and the Denigi Gaya Duge Midusu, Jeva Ched, some died, Sem Siadine, and the same kitchen Amada, Chimada, Gana Matimba Simju Duge Midu, Sem kitchen Amada, Mena Chimaya, and Chizan Kichima Amala thing you do. Kiji ngama siya den chima mena ngama ya mar chisa kiji ngama chima ting chisa sem siya dia kiji ji ro ba da yu ro ye de we de yang kiji ngama da chima pa su pa den tu den de we den de xie xia sam du che ba che ne an chisa sem da nga siya kan la ya ma de ran wen de ba de da zao gi ni mi do a sam be gi de ni ge sam da de ang ju ge da ji ge ka sa da di ring gi ang ju xie ge da lab che di re chisa 내니기 당하고 삼는 날에 양하고 창마다 나라다 나하고 차상기 토네다 니네 토래야 야네 야도 대시 쇼베 셰바나 지가도 미리 토비하게 된다라 진보 수준 수비 냠내 제거야래 안심제 탐지기 된도 마시 대시 균제 맹아 둔유고 셰네 자주 셈육군에랑 얘네 파신주게 냠내야 삼다야다 다데 되니기 다데 셰바는 된제유고 삼다야디 대안에 야도 삼당어디 당아주기 디기 TV기다 지게 제고야 되로 뒤차고 와다.
Now to summarize what we've looked at in these 3 sessions this weekend. So we've heard a lot of advice from Geshe Rinpoche in terms of how he trained his mind, and we've heard encouragement from him that we should train our minds in the same way. So it's my hope that all of you and myself as well will take this advice that we've heard from Geshe Rinpoche and apply it to ourselves. So in brief then, how to do this is cultivating a motivation of bodhicitta, the strong and sincere wish to strive to attain the state of enlightenment for the sake of others. And then to do so, we need to engage in the meditations on the 6 perfections. And what I want to encourage you on is to use this meditation on dependence arising in your other topics of meditation that you're reflecting on. So I'll talk about this briefly in terms of some of the perfections, but whatever topic of meditation you're engaging in, as we've heard in this class, use the implicit understanding or the implicit teaching of dependence arising and emptiness in whatever topic you're meditating on. So for example, of the 6 perfections, the first is generosity. So you meditate on the concept of generosity, how that appears to your mind, and seek that. See if it exists in the way that appears. An easier way is to think of, so generosity is the mind wanting to give. Through cultivating this mind, results come. So in future lives, we'll have an abundance of, for example, material wealth. So therefore, this is too a dependent arising, which means it's empty of inherent existence, because it's empty of being independent, because it is a dependent arising. So that's very simple to think about. But what we're training our mind here is in practice explicitly, in the practice of generosity. Implicitly, we're also using this opportunity to reflect on dependence arising and emptiness. Likewise with ethical conduct. The easy way to think about ethical conduct in this context is that through training in the mind of ethics, this subdued mind, the mind that doesn't bring harm to others, this is a cause that leads to results, such as not bringing harm to others. such as having a good rebirth in future lives. Therefore, this mind that is the practice of generosity, of ethical conduct, it is a dependent arising. And because it's a dependent arising, it is empty of inherent existence. Because it's a dependent arising, dependent on causes and conditions, it can grow ever stronger, ever more powerful, ever more dominant within me, etc. So in this way, we can use this, our understanding, whatever it is of dependent arising, emptiness of inherent existence, and apply it to any topic of meditation. And moreover, we can meditate also on emptiness in the way that is usually explained. So we can see, for example, how the self appears to our mind. And we heard that all phenomena appear as being inherently existent, in other words, independent of anything other than anything at all, as well as unchanging. So then we seek this, and we seek this inherently existent self. Does the self exist in the way that it appears? And as we've heard many times in the past, we look in our body, we don't find it there, we look in our minds, and we see that it can't be found in our minds, because there is no mind that is independent. Minds are all dependent. How so? They're dependent on parts. What are parts of mind? Previous moments. So without a previous moment, there cannot be a latter moment. Without that latter moment, there cannot be another latter moment. So mind has parts. It's dependent on momentary change. So therefore, our mind is not inherently existent. And no inherently existent self can be found within any mind. So through meditating like this, we can see that the body, the mind, the self, every phenomenon is empty of inherent existence, but exists as a mere imputation by mind. So this, in very brief, is what we've looked at this weekend. And my hope is that this technique for meditating on dependent arising, and in particular dependent arising on imputation, but also causes and also dependency on parts, that you utilize this, as well as that phenomena don't exist inherently. Utilize this understanding in all your meditations. And in this way, you'll accumulate vast stores of merit, and you'll quickly come to attain a realization of these objects of meditation. So we actually finished a few minutes early this time.